Good morning. Today, I want to talk about some of the most important weeds in Zimbabwe. These weeds are very difficult to control. Of course, we do have several weeds in Zimbabwe, but I think these weeds deserve a special treatment. So I'm going to start by presenting some of the perennial weeds. These are the Cyperas species. The most important two weeds, which are perennial weeds, are Cyperas rotundus, purple nut sedge, and Cyperas esculendus, yellownut sedge. This then is Cyperas rotundus, purple nut sedge. It is characterized by a purple seeded. This is purple nut sedge at a medium stage. This then is the whole structure of purple nut sedge. It has got seeded, which is purplish. It has got the stem, but at the base of the stem, we have a bulb. Then from the bulb, we have a rhizome, which terminates into a tuber. Now we've got the structure of purple nut sedge here. The flower head is purplish. This is the leaf. If you cut the stem, it has a triangular. It has got a triangular shaped cross section. At the base, there's a basal bulb. From this basal bulb, we get a rhizome, which is joined to a tuber, and we have got a series of tubers joined by rhizomes. In fact, it's actually forming a chain structure. If we were to apply a herbicide to this plant like glyphosate, the herbicide may kill the basal bulb, possibly the first and second tubers, but the other tubers may not be killed. This can trigger sprouting in the other tubers. This is the reason why it is a difficult weed to control. The other one is Cyperas esculendus yellownut sedge, which looks similar to the previous weed, but this one has got a yellow seed head, which is not displayed in this picture. This is the stem of Cyperas esculendus. At the base, we have got a bulb. Then from the bulb, we have got a rhizome, which now ends in a tuber. This is Cyperas esculendus yellownut sedge. The flower head is yellowish. These are the leaves. At the bottom here, we have got a basal bulb. Then from it, we have a rhizome, which terminates into a tuber. Well, if we were to apply glyphosate to this weed, there's a possibility that the chemical can reach these tubers, and this can easily be killed. Now, Let us compare the purple nut sedge and the yellow nut sedge. Purple nut sedge is at the first position in the list of world's weeds, according to Holm et al. 1977. Purple nut sedge is not easily controlled by herbicides, as reported by Chivinge 1983. Yellow nut sedge is relatively easy to control. Let us look at the identification. Perennial sedges, which are characterized by three-sided culms. The shoots may grow up to 1 meter. These two weeds are morphologically similar. Yellow nut sedge is light green in color, whereas purple nut sedge is dark green. The inflorescence of yellow nut sedge is yellow, and that of purple nut sedge is purple to brown. Each weed has a bulb and rhizomes which grow from this bulb. Yellow nut sedge has rhizomes which terminate into single tubers, whereas purple nut sedge produce several tubers in a chain. That is the difference. This difference explains why yellow nut sedge is easier to control than purple nut sedge. Initially, tubers are white and they turn brown as they mature. Seed production is common in both weeds. In some countries, the tubers of yellow nut sedge are edible. The tubers of purple nut sedge have a bitter taste. Tubers show dormancy. Apical dormancy prevents tubers from sprouting. Mechanical methods of weed control, for example, plowing and cultivation, induce sprouting by breaking apical dormancy. In purple nut sedge, salicylic acid is responsible for dormancy. Let us look at the agricultural importance. Yellow nut sedge is more widespread than purple nut sedge. Purple nut sedge thrives on wet, heavy soils, gardens, orchards, and cultivated lands, whereas yellow nut sedge is used as a stimulant and sedative in Asia and Africa. There's little information on the competitive effects of these weeds in Zimbabwe. Allelopathic effects were studied in Zimbabwe. Purple nut sedge had a marked phytotoxicity in cotton, but it did not affect maize and soybeans. This was reported by Chivinge in 1985. Also, allelopathic effects of purple nut sedge adversely affected horticultural crops. This was reported by Kawis et al. 1995. As for the control, hand hoeing and the cultivation can break dormants of yellow and purple nutsedge, causing severe infestation. This means that these methods are not effective. However, plowing can allow the tubers to be exposed, and this can be desiccated after, let's say, 14 weeks. This can actually kill these tubers, as reported by Chivinge. This is the list of some of the herbicides which can kill or suppress the sedges. Number one, we've got Basagran Bendazone. Number two, Cypam or EPTC. Number three, we have got Sevian, Halosulfuron, which could be used in maize. We have got glyphosate. We have got Imazapa and MSMA, which can also be used to kill the sedges. We have to stop sharing at this stage so that we can switch on to the other weeds. Now I'm going to move on to talk about other important weeds in Zimbabwe, apart from the sedges. So the first weed which I am going to talk about is Rhodboria coccinkinensis, chamber grass. Chamber grass is characterized by itchy hairs. So in fact, if you want to hand pull it, it's quite difficult because of the itchy hairs. This is chamber grass at emergence. It looks like maize. On the ground surface, you may see these cylinders. These are representing the seeds of chamber grass. Now, on the identification, at emergence, chamber grass looks like maize, and this is mimicry. We say chamber grass is mimicking maize. The hairs sticking out from leaf bases that surrounds the stem are a characteristic of chamber grass. These hairs irritates when hand pulling. The lower part of the stem is red, and it has prop roots which look like maize. The flowering spike carries seeds which can easily fall off one by one. The seed remains attached on the seedling after emergence. So these are the prop roots of chamber grass, and on the ground you can see the chamber seeds, which look like cylinders. This is the flowering spike with the cylinder-shaped seeds, which can easily break and fall off one by one. Seed production per plant, you can have one plant producing 580 to 9,850 seeds. And the seed longevity is about 5 years. This was reported by Switzer in 1967. Now, as for the distribution and agricultural importance, this weed is commonly found in Mazoe Valley, Shamva district, and part of Midlands areas. It prefers heavy soils and high rainfall areas. It is classified as the most aggressive weed in all provinces of Zimbabwe, according to Chivinge in 1988. Bud in 1975 and Chivinge in 1983 reported Shamva grass to be the second most aggressive and the second most difficult to control weed in the large-scale commercial sector. It is among the 18 most troublesome weeds worldwide, according to Holm 1977. Now, there was a study which was done by Thomas and Aronson in 1975. They found that Shamva grass germinating at the same time as maize did not affect grain yield after 8 weeks crop emergence. But at 12 weeks after crop emergence, it started to reduce grain yields. And any Shamva grass emerging the control, hand pulling is difficult because of the itchy hairs, but there are herbicides which can be used. For example, in maize, we have Accent or nicosulfuron. We have got Prowl, Stomp, or pendimethrine. And in soybeans and cotton, we have got trifluralin and fusilate. The next weed is Vinafatua wild oat. This looks like wheat. Now, the distinguishing characteristics of this weed is that it's a noxious weed. It looks like wheat. It mimics wheat. So there's a mimicry there. The leaves are twisted in an anti-clockwise direction and in the opposite direction to wheat and barley. Wild oat is large ligule with no auricules, and the leaves tend to be hairy. At flowering, wild oat stand well above wheat. Now let us look at factors that make wild oat a major weed. First, wheat and wild oat are very close competitors. There's great yield loss when wild oat emerges at the same time with the crop. Wild oat has staggered germination, and this mechanism allows it to persist. Wild oats are spread as contaminants in grain, hay, and machinery. Now, table 1 shows the proportion or percentage or percent of original Avena fatua seeds which survived burial after burial at different depths. This was done at Weed Research team. Basically, this table is showing how long wild oat can survive within the soil when buried at 12 centimeters, 24, and 36. In a nutshell, 30 months was enough to reduce Avena fatua seed. Actually, by 30 months, most of the seed had died. So you require 30 months to exhaust the Avena fatua seed. Herbicides which can be used to control this weed are difenzoquat and dichlormethyl. So as long as the field is kept from weed seed addition, after 30 months, probably one can get rid of Avena fatua. The last weed is Cyanogylon Kuchi Grass. It's a perennial weed. This is Kuchi Grass at flowering stage. Kuchi Grass at a medium stage. This is Kuchi Grass showing the various parts. We have got the flower, the stem, roots, rhizome, and the stolon. This is the leaf. Kuchi grass is a perennial weed that propagates through rhizomes, stolons, and seed, but please note, it can also propagate through the stem. Rhizomes run underground. Stolons run on the soil surface. Now, flowers can produce viable seeds. This weed is one of the world's worst weeds, according to Holm et al. In 1977. Rhizomes are the main reserves of carbohydrates and dormant buds for overwintering. Let us look at the distribution and agricultural importance. Kuchi grass was classified as the aggressive weed in all administrative provinces of Zimbabwe, according to Chivinge 1988. In Manicaland, Kuchi grass was the 5th aggressive weed. Most farmers interviewed in other provinces reported that once land is plowed, the weed is exposed to dry weather and undergoes desiccation, according to Chivinge. So in some cases, farmers are able to control it through plowing. Kuchi grass is a major problem in communal farming areas of Zimbabwe. In this table, we just want to show that Kuchi grass, Cyanogylon can produce chemicals which can affect carrot, cucumber, lettuce, maize, onion, radish, and tomato. So apart from competing for nutrients and water, it produces chemicals which can suppress crops. This is Kuchi grass in a maize crop. You can see this is on the background. This is Kuchi grass. Well, this is it on some of these important weeds. So I will stop sharing. Okay, so we have just finished talking about Kuchi grass. It can actually be controlled through plowing and exposing the rhizomes. Some people recommend that the farmer should plow twice to ensure that the rhizomes are exposed to the sun and they are desiccated to kill them. The other issue is that glyphosate can also be used to kill Kuchi grass. But if you have a crop, it means that it's either you apply glyphosate during the beginning of the season so that you kill Kuchi grass, then you plant. The other point is that you can also use glyphosate just after harvesting to get rid of the Kuchi grass. Otherwise, Kuchi grass can be a very difficult weed to control. So this is it about some of the important weeds which we have in Zimbabwe. I will stop here.